lastly, you know, they tell you in politics, follow the money. Follow the money. If you want to understand, and that gets to your question, Beth, here. You know, Wall Street's got 10 lobbyists for every member of Congress. And I must confess, I did get a $1,000 contribution from a young Wall Street executive, and I was quite surprised. It was the only one I got. It turned out it was my nephew. And then I got to tell you, and I see a few of my Republican friends in the audience here too today, and thank you. I'm glad you're here. Welcome. I ran into one of them at the airport recently. He had spent like $4 million against me, and he was very nice. He's a good guy. He congratulated me and said, "You know, we thought we had you beat." And I said, "Well, a lot of people did. We have a lot of friends that doubled down and made more calls and made more contributions, and stood up for us, and we managed to pull it out." So I couldn't help teasing him a little bit. I said, "Well, you gotta stop wasting all that good money trying to defeat your old pal, Rick." And he laughed, and he proceeded to pull some arrows out of my back. You know, he said, "Rick, you know, trust me, it's nothing personal." He said, because of gerrymandering, he said, we studied all 535 races in the country. That of course includes not just the House but the Senate. We could only find 26 of them that were competitive. Now that's a sad statement on democracy. He said most of them were gerrymandered, either all Democrat or all Republican. And he said we have so doggone much money and no place to spend it. And he said, unfortunately, your district is one of those 26 competitive districts. And it gets worse for you, Rick, because he said, we won 16 of those 26 seats, there's only 10 left. Wow. You know, 10 competitive seats in the country. It should be that every single one of them are competitive. How else do the best ideas have an opportunity to emerge? If the Democrats and or the Republicans can nominate, you know, any who they want with the assurance that they'll get elected without regard to competition from the other side. So, in my judgment, probably the single most important thing we need to do is to change the way we do politics in this country. This Congress, not accidentally, is considered to be among the most, has passed one of the most unproductive in the history of the country. And it's not surprising, because elections and campaigns have become all about the money and not about governing. So I want you to know I'm a sponsor of the resolution to reverse Citizens United Corporation. And I wanted to have a chance to, you know, really develop the best understanding I could about all this. So again, rather than being in the center across the street dialing for dollars once a week, I've been meeting with a little election reform group. And I put together a what I call a Restore Democracy piece of legislation, because I think that's fundamental to getting away from a politics based on money to one that's based on governance and performance and fixing things and getting things done. So it starts with reversing Citizens United, and then a provision for a combination of private and public financing for campaigns. I'd like to see it all public, but you know, you can't say anybody wants to run, you know, here's your money, run. So, you know, the person would have to develop a significant number of small contributions, after which it would be complemented by public money, so that people would be beholden to the public, not the most well-financed special interest, in order to keep their seat and get reelected. The other is a federal standards on reapportionment, so that districts are required to be competitive and not to the advantage of one party or the other, one incumbent or the other. Get some competition in our political process. I, quite frankly, would also like to see a limitation on the time and where and when and how money monies can be spent. Most Western democracies have election contests that are limited to anywhere from 30 to 90 days. I call for 60. I don't know what the sacred number is, but I tell you what, I know this. And that is that campaigns and raising money should not be 365 days a year. I'll tell you just a couple of the reasons why. The way this thing is going, these large amounts of money, they're polluting the airwaves. People are so angry and frustrated with it. They are distorting people's records. And they are discouraging good men and women from running for public office. Who wants to put themselves and their family through that whole process? And it is perverting the public interest and the public will. And those reasons aren't good enough for understanding the need for change. Then, everybody's got to sit down and re-examine, because I'm pretty sure this is not what our founders had intended. So, and then lastly, my Restore Democracy Act requires that for legislation to come before the House, it should come through what they call regular order. It should come through the committee process. I mentioned that I've been a successful legislator, both in terms of the amendments I've introduced, the legislation I've introduced. I got to tell you something. I think the Republican Party on every one of those. Pardon. This was not, Rick Nolan, the Democrat. This is Rick Nolan, representative from the 8th District, trying to fix it, trying to get some things done. And I found Republican partners who shared those views, who shared those values, who shared those solutions that I'm proposing and trying. It's totally bipartisan. And that's how things get done. If we all get together for a couple hours here every day, we will find the things we agree on. We'll find the things we just can't agree on and have to set aside. But we'll come together on the things that we can. And that's how democracy works. And democracy is a lot of hard work. Holy crying out loud. I had a senator say to me, I was telling him when I served before, we had on average about 8,000 subcommittee, full committee, conference committee meetings. That's how everything got to the floor of the House. And that's how, when it was done, it was able to receive passage and signature by the president. And it's extremely rare. Now everything's decided in the Speaker's office. Even the Republican chairmen are frustrated. They've been trying to get reelected for 15, 20 years, and now chairman of the committee. I got to tell you, I haven't met anybody in the Congress yet who didn't go there with a lot of goodwill, a lot of good intentions, desire to fix the things they can, some big dreams to move things, to another better level, and then suddenly be the chairman of the committee. And like the Transportation Committee, and hold hearings, and the head of the National Chamber comes in and says, this is what you got to do, and the trade unions come in and say, this is what you got to do, and everybody comes in, and everybody is unanimous in their agreement, and then it comes to writing the legislation, and the Speaker says, no, you're not. Everybody's going to do an 8-month extension, and we're going to borrow some money from people's private pension funds. So you can imagine how the chairman feels. Chairman. So we got to get back to regular order, barring the unusual, national emergency of one sort. So, and I kind of think this is key. This is key, is changing the way we do politics. Take the money out, get back to regular order. Oh, one of the other measures in the bill is to prohibit fundraising when the Congress is in session.
Thank you.
Go to Washington and go to work.
Right.
And if you care about fiscal responsibility and finances, when the Inspector General for Afghanistan is making a presentation, there should be more than 2 or 3 members there to hear what he's got to say. I know I've missed some things here, but that's kind of a general of where we're at and where I think we need to go, and some ideas on how I think we can get there. So thank thank you, and I'll be glad to take any and all questions.